I lived in Hutchinson, Kansas, and that's where I grew up. I went to high school at Hutch High School. In the 80s, I was in elementary school. In the 90s, I was in high school and college. I was playing sports. I was being a student. I worked at a golf course. I cleaned clubs. I picked up the golf balls on the range. I cleaned golf carts and did all that. I also was a scorekeeper for baseball and softball games, and umpired baseball and softball games. In the 90s, I remember the O.J. Simpson trial. That was huge. I remember the Oklahoma City bombing in like 94 or 5, whenever that happened. I remember the first Gulf War in the early 90s. In the 80s, I remember the Challenger exploding. That was something that I remember. Those are the major ones. I listened to, I remember one of my first tapes that I had a tape with Michael Jackson's Thriller. It was one of my first ones. One of my first CDs, when CDs came out, I had Paula Abdul. That was pretty awesome. And then later on, I got into gangster rap of Tupac and Biggie and things like that. I played sports. I played a lot of sports. I played basketball and football and golf. I wrote for the school newspaper. I also did video journalism. What else I did? I went to a lot of K-State basketball and football games growing up. I'd say technology is the big thing. The idea of cell phones and instant access to each other and to the web and things like that. Back then, answering machines were the big thing. You came home every day and checked your answering machine, you checked your mail, and you wrote letters to people. We don't do that anymore. It was more difficult, I guess, to get in touch with each other, with people, but it wasn't a huge deal if you went hours without talking to someone. Whereas now, if you don't get a response back from someone pretty immediately through a text message or something, then it's kind of a big deal. I remember I had jeans that I would roll up. I had, jeans roll up. I had these shoes they're back now, they're Reebok pumps. And so you would pump them up and they would tighten up your shoes. I wore jean jackets. Yeah, I remember there was a phase, remember crisscross, where they wore their clothes backwards? When gas was 79 cents. Then it was 99 cents. This was when I was in high school. And so, that's changed dramatically. I don't remember, I wasn't buying milk back then, but gas is the big one. I remember movies were cheaper. Movies were way cheaper back then. I'm thinking $4 or $5. Now it costs, almost $10 to go to a movie. I remember when I got a Nintendo. I got my first Nintendo, and I also had a Sega. Those were fun. Other electronics. I just remember video game systems. I got my first cell phone when I was in college, which would have been 1998. It was about that big. It was like a brick. So that's changed a lot. This is weird. I like Twin Peaks. You ever heard of Twin Peaks? It was really good. It was a good show. And then I like Saturday morning cartoons. Love Saturday morning cartoons and stuff on Saturday mornings. Love Saved by the Bell.